Okay. We have a volunteer for closing prayer. Sorry, opening prayer, not closing. I can do it.
Okay.
Our Heavenly Father, we're thankful for this day. We're grateful for this opportunity we have to be able to come together as a group and to discuss this case study that we have studied. We ask you to bless us that we'll be able to have a good group session together and a discussion so that we can get the most out of this case study. We say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Sorry, I cut out for a few minutes or a few seconds and
You're
missed you asking for a prayer, I guess, if you did, and beginning of it.
It's okay. That's okay. That's not a big deal. I don't say it. It seems like you guys say it a lot, or so I just want to make sure we just kind of make it even. So, trying to pull up the actual discussion. Were you guys able to find like the numbers? I had a hard time finding what I needed to find. I don't know if you guys had the same issue or not.
I did, but I didn't have a lot of time today for this week, I guess. One of my nieces is in the hospital. She's pretty sick.
Oh, wow.
So just with, lots of calls back and forth and whatever. I just haven't
Right.
on time.
So I guess to kind of begin, what value would you guys place on RightNow Technologies?
So I think the value current or the value with the offer?
It just says,
Yeah, that's interesting.
just
Kind
says
of a vague
value
question.
in general.
I think right now they're currently valued at 78.8 million.
Yeah, that's what I thought they were. Yeah, remind me where that shows. Is that one of the exhibits or anything?
Well, it was a combination of the exhibits. What they're trying to value them is according to the other markets and their market multiple. So comparable markets for software, it's around 2 to 3 times market multiple. So I have it at 2.2. And then you multiply their revenue, their current revenue, which was, I think, 35 million, by the market multiple.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of a really broad, not really a broad, but more like a really open-ended question. You can really have a lot of answers to that. I don't know that personally. My answer: what value would you place on them? I'd probably have to go with the same answer you came up with, the 78.8 million. I don't know. Any other thoughts on that? Do you guys think it's any? What are you guys good with that?
As far as that, does it, let me go into the questions. Does it ask about the valuation with the offer?
No.
No, it doesn't.
I think that'd be important because there is a huge difference. Their current valuation, according to the market, would be 78.8 million, but with the offer, they are willing to look not at 2015's projections or what they did, but what they're expecting to do for 2004. And that makes their valuation 112 million, which is a significant jump. I think it's a 33 million jump from what their valuation was before. So it's very favorable, in my opinion. And to me, it sounds like a good deal.
I think realistically, any of those numbers could be their value. It just kind of depends on which option or how you want to look at it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, okay, well let's move on to the second question. It says, please provide a range of values rather than a single number. How did you come to this conclusion?
A range of values?
Mm-hmm. I think it wants us to come up kind of an idea of like a variety of values, which I think we just kind of discussed anyways, because like you were saying, you know, there's one value by itself, you know, then you got
Yeah.
one with the IPO, you know what I mean? Like it just kind of depends. But I think we kind of already kind of discussed that realistically. Because like if you look at the three options, you kind of have an idea, you know, because like he has three investment options. He has three options of what he wants to do. He can exit now, right now, and pocket the money, or he can stay in and let it grow and continue the growth that it's continuing to do, or he can pretty much take the IPO. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like those are the three options that I thought were that he had to kind of review to decide what he wanted to do. Um, and we kind of already came up with two of those values, what it would be to just sell right now, and I think that was the 78.8, and I think the IPO was 33 million more, right?
Right. Yeah, 33 million difference. So that, I guess that'd be the range is kind of between 78 to 112 or anywhere in between, because it's kind of a guesstimate with the market multiple. We're taking the average of other market multiples, which some of them are actually even below 1. So technically, we're
Right.
being on the positive or optimistic side.
Well, the other thing too, though, the hard thing is you just don't know. You can't really put a value on what it's going to be when it grows either, though. You know what I mean? Like you could kind of get an idea. I guess you could really, if you wanted to, do the math and try to calculate all the numbers and kind of get an idea what it would be in like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not necessarily going to be an accurate number either, just because things change a lot. It could go either higher or lower. So, but I agree with you. I think the range is that 33 million difference. You know, I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the range right now, at least between what they could get right now, cash versus the IPO. So, um, so if Greg's investors seek a 30 to 50% internal rate of return, what exit value will they expect?
You know, it never really clarified that. 30 to 50 internal. Yeah, sorry, I am not familiar with the internal rate of return compared to an exit value.
Well, I think what it would be, at least how I understand the question is, if they seek a 30 to 50% internal rate of return, basically the exit value would be how much is that return going to be? Like, if they were to exit with that return, what's that value going to be? Basically,
Mm-hmm.
the exit value is just what you're going to get when you leave. You know, like that's basically how I understand the exit value is. That's the lump sum that you're going to get. It's just saying if Greg's investors seek 30 to 50% internal rate of return, what is the, what's that value going to be?
So what do you guys think the value will be?
I had a hard
That's
time
what I'm
finding this
looking
one.
for through the exhibits to see if there was something in there to say what the exit value might be, or give us a hint about what the exit value would be. And I can't find anything in the exhibits that talks about anything like that.
Let's see here. That's it. Really, really not straightforward answer here. Where just trying to think what numbers we would need to use to calculate 30, 50% internal rate of return. Exhibit 2 doesn't really help us because it's just balance sheets, so it's not really going to tell us. Except we have right. Working capital. I'm wondering if maybe it's in the redeemable convertible preferred stock. Because I think, wouldn't they have some kind of part of some kind of stock, wouldn't they? Some kind of preferred stock.
Well, I'm trying to research it, and it gets pretty dang complex because it talks about the net present value being a determinant of the internal rate. But it doesn't show how that relates really to the exit value. Yeah, I'm at a complete loss on this. I wish I knew this kind of stuff like the back of my hand, but I don't.
The hardest thing with these questions are you could read through these case studies, but you don't know if to look for these unless you go look it up. Like look at the questions, but it's like there's not really a guide to these answers, you know? Like if you need
And I
to,
think they do that on purpose. They're like, oh, go figure it out, go get curious and stuff. And it's like, well, that's cool if we only had one case study a week, but with two.
the stuff is just like it's not. I don't know. It's not easy stuff to calculate. I know that for sure. Just a matter of like I'm sure if you have a formula, you could probably figure it out pretty quickly once you find the formula. But it's a matter of what data do you need? But there may not even be a formula either. Like the question if Greg's investors, so who's his investors? Who's the investor?
So we would need to know how much they invested.
Hmm. I'm trying to find those.
So the only thing I saw in here was that Greg had invested his own money at the beginning.
Yeah, he invested his own money. It was
And then
five.
they just talked about how much he needed to have after that. I don't see anything where it says.
Shows here. Um, so Greg, he's trying. It looks like he's been managing to keep a 60% equity stake in the company. So at least wants 60%.
They're showing that the return can be spread out through a couple of years. Like everywhere I'm looking, just digs a deeper hole.
Right. As more questions.
Yeah. I'm very curious about it. Like, I'd love to learn more about it, but there's just no time.
Here's the thing, though. It's like it says that he sold his company. Well, never mind. That's a different company. Sorry, it's Brightwood, not right now. No, no, it's a different company. Sorry, I thought that was right now, but it's not. It doesn't matter. That doesn't apply.
Yeah, to even calculate the IRR, we would need to know the time frame to do it. Does it give the time frame for when it wants?
No, it doesn't.
Why would they ask this? If Greg's investors seek internal rate of return, what exit value will they expect?
It's looking into it too much. We're just like right in front of our eyes.
So how long has this been going? How long has this company? Because I'm pretty sure it mentioned at some point that the investors contributed to it, right? He started out as a bootstrap and then he got venture capitalists involved.
Right. So he started in 1997, I think.
Okay.
If I remember it correctly.
And I'm showing financial data from 1999 to 2003. So that's 5 years.
Okay, so yep, he in 2003 he got a round of venture capital.
In 2003, that's when he got, well, I think he got it twice, right? Because he got it, tried to get an IPO, failed, and then got it again.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So if it's 5 years, crap, we would still need to know how much they put into it. Because it's every year they're getting that percentage back. So let's say they invested 4,000, or make it easier, $100,000. And if their rate of return that they're wanting is 30 to 50%, which is a very big range, let's say it's 50%, then every year they would need $50,000 returned to them, or potentially. And so if they were to exit, they would need the equivalent of that amount for 5 years. So we need to find out how much they invested, but I don't
And that's
see
what
that.
I was looking for in the exhibits. It doesn't say anywhere. And I don't remember seeing anything about how much they invested in the actual case.
Neither did I.
I'm having a really, really hard time finding how much they invested. Because, like, the
Yeah.
thing is, like, it's saying Greg's investors. Okay, we've got to find out the investors, how much did they invest into the company? But I'm not finding that.
You think it might be in their balance sheet?
Hard thing is how are we going to find it in the exhibits? Because is it going to list saying this is what was invested? I don't know if you necessarily. What I would say is if someone's investing money into your business, it's probably just going to show on like either your in your equity. Does that make sense? Like it's either going to be in your equity or it's going to be, I don't know. I don't think it's really going to be straightforward on whether it's because it's pretty much going to be your stock. How they're going to invest in your company is by stock.
Is it the total
And
stockholders deficit?
it could be that because I was just thinking is usually you don't have a stockholders deficit unless you owe money.
Because that's on page
Your
15,
investor. Yeah,
exhibit 2.
that's what I see too. But I'm just like so broad. It's like you don't know.
Let's learn you some. corporate.
Who are his investors? Do you guys know? I can't find them. Is it a company that invested?
It was a venture
Or is-
I
capitalist.
don't think so. Yeah, they don't think they said. They just said VCs.
Yeah. Would it be part of the equity? I wish they could have made hints towards that earlier so that we could have been researching throughout the week instead of in the meeting. Guess next time I got to read the questions before I start getting into the case study. I mean, they got the questions they already provide us, but now, you know, the group questions too.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. What do you think? Should we call it?
Yeah, I am to the point where it's like it's too broad. I don't know. Like I don't. If we knew how much they invested, we could probably get to a number, but
Right.
I just don't. Maybe we're just missing it. I don't know. Or maybe they're just thinking that we should just know where to find all this information in there.
I might have found it on Exhibit 5 on page 18.
Okay.
Talks private equity, venture capital returns, 5 years, IRR percent. And then it talks about post-money valuations. So they're looking at 30 to 50, and anything around the 30 to 50 range, which there's 3 of them for percent of IRR. They're looking at a average between 70 and 100,000. What is this? Millions or yeah. So 73 million to 100 million valuation or exit.
Which exhibit are you looking at?
Exhibit 5 on page 18. You might have to twist it, I don't know. And then towards the middle of the whole thing, it talks about private equity.
Yeah, I see it now. I was on the wrong one.
And number 6 on there, it says venture capital returns 5 years IRR percent. And our percentage we're trying to stay within is 30 to 50%. Only 3 of those meet that.
Yep.
And that's in the middle. And if you go down towards the bottom of those averages, you look at the average post-money valuation, IT deals, and then also committed capital for buyouts. So about 73 to 100 million. It's kind of vague, but that's the best I got. And maybe that's why they didn't go into too much detail, as it was kind of already provided in the exhibit. It's just hidden.
Yeah, it's just maybe we won't get on the right spot.
It wasn't
Okay.
until we gave up that I found it, so that's a lesson learned. Give up to find
I was
things.
gonna say, give up 15 minutes ago.
Yeah. Okay, well then, should we move on then?
Yes.
Last question says, provide your analysis of each of the options Greg is considering. Based on your analysis, what should Greg do? Consider Greg's goals as well as the goals of everyone else who is involved in this venture.
So to kind of, and I think this will be our summary of what we kind of choose. My personal opinion, given the different data provided and the valuation of the company and the offer of the valuation that the acquisition company is trying to do is very favorable. I think they should go with the acquisition. It'll meet all the needs of the venture capitalists. It hits all of their numbers as far as their exit valuation, and I think they're trying to stay within like a market multiple of 2 to 3 times multiple, and it's within that valuation. So all the numbers add up, and I think that the acquisition should be the method they go with.
What do you think?
So was that going to keep, because I know that he had wanted to, have a certain amount of jobs generated in Bozeman, and he hadn't met that goal. I don't remember what it was now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and scaling larger because of a parent company acquiring them, I think, is the best way for them to be able to meet that, because he's got what, like 400 or something employees. He needs to increase that by 1,600. There's no way he's going to do that organically. Yeah.
So he wanted 2,000 total?
I think so, somewhere around that. I have that number somewhere.
Yeah, so I think that would be the way that he would want to go.
Yes, he needs 1,600 more employees. So, and so Ellen, that's the way you're saying as well?
Yep. Because of that, I think that was a big thing for him as well.
Yeah.
To be able to do that in Bozeman.
How about you, Nathan?
Yeah, after looking at all 3 options, the 2 that I went back and forth on was the number 1 and number 3. I don't think the IPO is necessarily the right way to go, because I think he will obviously get more with the acquisition offer, but also he'll probably make more money if he grows it. The one I ended up deciding on was actually the same one as you guys, and the only reason I went that way is because I think their products with a larger organization are going to be able to grow quicker, I think, than they are right now. because the bigger company is going to have the resources already built and ready to go, but they can just start producing the products and getting them out there and running quicker than probably his company could. And so he'll probably get more money. Well, he'll probably get some kind of percentage off of those products, because they're his product and they're bought by the company. So I think overall, I think that's probably the better one.
Yep. All right. Sounds good. I think we did it.
Yep. So let me just end the recording. We summarized.